Dr. Feldman, tell me why you want to run the Western States race.
Okay. So I've always liked to run a lot. I used to do triathlons, and then I just stopped doing triathlons, and I just was running, and I was trying to get fast, and I ended up breaking my hip in 2009. And I'm sitting there reading a book called Born to Run in 2009. And I always thought in my head, I wish I could just run all day long. And then I read this book, Born to Run, and they're talking about 100-mile races. And I was like, that's so cool. I can run all day. So I remember finishing the book like 1:30 in the morning, and I'm like looking up 100-mile runs for my birthday. Around that same time, there was an email that went around, and there was a local guy from Massachusetts who finished second in the Western States run that particular year. And he finished the race. It was on a high school track. So the race it was the first ever 100-mile run. It was a horse race, and this guy, his horse, Gordy Ainsley, his horse pulled up lame, and he didn't want to back out because it was such a prestigious event. So he did it on foot. And the next year, a few more people did it because they heard about that. And then within a few more years, there wasn't even a horse race anymore. It was just a human running race. And anyway, I ended up doing Vermont in 2010 as my first ever 100-mile run, which was the second ever 100-mile race. And that was the year after the first Western States. And it's still a horse race to this day, which makes it really cool. But anyway, so I'm watching this video in 2009 circulate through, and this guy finishes this race, Western States, and it finishes on a high school track in Auburn, California. So it's point to point. Starts at Lake Tahoe, goes over Squaw Valley, or what used to be Squaw Valley, I think it's now called North Star, and it ends on a high school track in Auburn, California. And he sits in this chair afterwards, and he gives this sigh with this content, happy, exhausted look in his eyes. And I said, I want that. I want that. So that was 2009. So I do my first 100-mile run. I enter Western States lottery. I don't get in for 2011. We have a son. So I took a few years off from doing the long distance stuff. And then in 2014, I hurt myself again. I was going to do Leadville that year and get back on this track. And then I ended up having to push out to 2015. So I have done a qualifier every year since 2015. And every year I enter the lottery to get into this 100-mile run. And every year I don't get in. And this year, I have 9 straight tries. I still didn't get in, but they put me and the 12 other losers who didn't get into the lottery, even though we have so many chances to get in, our name wasn't picked. They put us at the top of the wait list. So this year is likely to be the year that I'm going to get in, and this is the race. So it starts up near Olympic Valley. So that's where they had the Olympics at some point, I think in the 60s. They've had it twice at Squaw Valley. Anyway, it's point to point, and it ends all the way in Auburn, California. This would be the side gram. So it starts about 6,000 feet, goes up to about 8,700 feet. So it's a net downhill with 17,000 feet of elevation climbing along the way. And so that's the race. This should be my very last 100-mile run that I do. Nobody's going to believe me until it's actually done, but this is the race I've been dying to do, and I'd love to give updates along the way if anybody's interested in the training, and you can kind of follow along with it.